Hey guys, this is Jamie. So today I want to talk about a topic I have talked in the past, but it's been blowing up recently on my Reddit feed. I haven't personally seen this video on TikTok, but it is a subject where I have a clear sort of opinion on. And I guess if you've been on social media, whether it's Reddit or TikTok itself, there's a lot of discussion going on whether straight people, specifically seemingly cis-het men in gay bars. The incident was with a cis-het dude in a lesbian bar, from what I understood, and he was there with other friends who were queer and other who weren't. And supposedly the issue was raised when he said that well, someone asked him like to move because he was blocking by the bathroom, and he replied a bit impolitely, something like that. Anyway, I really wanted to discuss this because it is a very touchy subject, and I personally do not feel comfortable when people say that like cis-het men shouldn't be allowed into gay spaces. Now, I do have to say that obviously I'm gay, I'm a trans guy, so like even if those things were to be put in place, I would still be able to go. But because I'm a passing trans guy and I have been for many years, I do get questions like, oh, if you're trans, like, are you a trans woman or something? Or like, how long? When are you starting transitioning to a trans woman? So yeah. Or like, I could have never been, I would have never told that, you know, you're a trans guy. So it does irk me a little. So if I were to show up, let's say, to a gay place and I have been taken like without makeup, people assume that I'm cis-het. And I've been in several situations where it was really weird for people to assume my sexuality for me and think that I was straight. And I don't know, it feels really weird. So basically, there was like, for instance, an incident in my city, and I have talked about this with other people, where there were posters for LGBT nights or like parties, and it would say no men, but it wouldn't say no het men, it would just say no men. And it was very bizarre because, well, do you have to prove that you're gay upon arrival? Do you have to show, like, how are you gonna prove that you're trans to someone? If you're, for instance, a straight trans guy. And that irks me. And I saw people on Reddit raise valid concerns that what if it's a trans woman who is not transitioning or someone questioning? And when it comes to questioning, I do want to emphasize on that there's a lot of folk who question. There's a lot of people who decide not to transition for certain reasons, which are frankly none of anyone's business unless the person decides to tell them. Like, I know trans femme, non-binary people who decide not to transition or are cross-dressers, and you might not, how to put this, think of them as, or they might not fit your idea into what a trans woman is, simply because they're not doing any visible changes there to their body. And it's a very complex topic when it comes to people who are too scared to transition or who feel like it's not right for them, and then they end up in this limbo. And obviously there are other people who realize that they want to go ahead or they're in waiting time. So it does feel weird to sort of cut that off, and if someone is not ready to be out but wants to be in that space, who are you to question that? And I feel like specifically in more accepting countries, it's very bizarre to put that. Like, obviously Portugal has its issues and stuff, and I understand now, since we're always talking about the US. In the US, there are massive issues, but if it's an LGBT friendly city, and in general, I do want to say that we still need to be coexisting with people who are the majority. So as much as I enjoyed LGBT circles back in my day and other things, and I do want to, I am an activist, I will continue being an activist, and fight for our rights, obviously. Sometimes I go to LGBT circles, sometimes I don't, sometimes I go to LGBT bars, sometimes I don't. So it really depends on the mood, and same thing. And I don't understand why we should be gatekeeping people. Like, obviously, I understand if people are breaking certain things like inappropriate behavior, like harassing go-go dancers, harassing people who are in the bar. But unless someone is actively harassing someone, which should be a general rule for, well, factually, any person who's going to that bar, people should have no issue with who's in there. So I find that really weird. I don't like this divide, and in general, I don't like this whole hatred towards men. It really leaves a bad taste in my mouth, and I just find it very bizarre. And I think it's something to sort of self-reflect, and I do understand that obviously looking at different countries and in general, we can understand that certain men are part of the problem, but in my opinion, so are certain women, yet you'd let a cis-het woman inside, or like you don't have issues with hen parties. Yeah. So I really do want to say that as long as everyone's being respectful, it doesn't matter. And if some cis-het person is in there, they're being respectful, they're being, I don't know, respectful of us existing, then there shouldn't be an issue. On the opposite, because when we're trying to integrate as a society, we should be able to, well, coexist in a way. Because, well, straight people exist, so do gay people, so do bisexuals. What are the persons called bisexual? Or asexual? How do you know? And it's very weird to demand someone's sexuality on the spot, or like, what if the person was gonna come out that day, or they're planning to come out later, or they're going for a divorce and then coming out. You don't know what's going on. Or sometimes people just want to go there just to understand how it is for them. And it was a thing for me, for instance. I used to frequent a trans group back when I was trying to wrap my head around who I was, my sexuality, gender identity. And I would frequent a trans group, and I would talk to people to understand them. I did go sort of like, I would openly say that I'm here because I wanted to understand trans people more. And it was a very popular group that gay people, which were heads, would go, heads quest, gay cis people would go to. And but it wasn't an issue because there weren't many, and people were sort of trying to understand trans people and etc. And I do have to say, like, if someone were to ask me at that time, I was very sort of in a massive denial at the time. So yeah, I don't know what I have said if someone asked me point blank. Because it was around the first time I came out, like, that I'm a trans guy, like, to my partner. And it was a very difficult period for me because I was really confused identity-wise. Because I knew my childhood, I knew that I wanted to be a guy, but I was ashamed to be one at that time. And it was very difficult because I was going through a lot of things. So yeah. So you really shouldn't judge a person, like, and even if they are there and with their friends, like, what are you going to say? Hey, this friend can't go in? So it's very bizarre. And I do understand the importance of LGBT spaces, but at the same time, I feel like specifically in our world, we need to be more coexisting than dividing ourselves from others. So it's fine for all of us to blend in, and I think specifically in this political climate, if you are not gonna punch each other's throats, it's fine to go to the same bar and not have a confrontational talk, or say like, you can't go to my bar, well, you can't go to my bar either. So yeah, that's literally my 3 cents on the issue. Like, just don't be an asshole. If the person is there and it's not disturbing you or anyone else, just go ahead with your day, your party, whatever. Yeah, I'm sorry, I've just been really tired, really overwhelmed, but thank you very much for watching this video. As always, feel free to leave a comment if you want. I've been getting quite a few questions about transitioning in Portugal recently, and I do have to say that obviously I know more from the trans man side rather than the trans woman side. But yeah, obviously if a certain amount of questions sort of arise or I get overloaded with them, or if there's anything you want me to talk about specifically, please feel free to leave a comment below. I might do a bigger video where I elaborate on certain things. If not, feel free to reach me out on my social medias. I'll try to help you with any knowledge that I can find, etc. And if you enjoy my content, please obviously subscribe.